Hello and welcome to another weekly devotion with Pastor Andrew. That's me. So we move on this week from our Festival Sunday, Holy Cross Day, as we pondered what does the cross mean to me, right? Not me, but like to me, us, right? And both personally and communally, what is the cross? What does it? How does it connect us with the everyday world? All those things. And as I said in my sermon, and as some of you even commented to me, Holy Cross Day is the day we stop and we ponder these things, but really, Holy Cross Day is every day. What is the cross to us? Let us recognize that it is not, as it was for many under the Roman Empire, a symbol of death. For us, it is a symbol of life. And why is that? Well, go listen to the sermon and give me your thoughts. But we move on from that back to our lectionary and learning and hearing parables and stories. This coming week we will hear, and this isn't planned, but always, right, connections, as we begin, in a sense, a little bit more of our stewardship drive as we prepare for 2026 already. We start that, really, we had that letter that was distributed this last Sunday to kind of get us ready, get it in our mind, plant that stewardship seed, as it were. And now we really kind of kick that off on the 21st, which is this coming Sunday of September. And then we have 4 weeks. So I believe that our president, El Presidente, Mark Lozer, shared it yesterday in announcements. I'm pretty sure I really cranked up the volume so you could hear him on our live stream, and then also the recorded version, which can be found on that's right, the website and Facebook. So instead of the what we've been doing, where it's just like, hey, here's a letter, think about it, and then a pledge card, and hey, if you can get that back to us so we can prepare. This year we do that, but then we kind of kick it off. We kind of say, hey, here's where these things are going. It's a little bit more. We're not necessarily doing, as perhaps some of us have experienced in other congregations, if we were a part of them, a huge stewardship drive. My computer's about ready to go dark. We don't want that to happen. Where, talks and people like that, getting up testimonies, we're not doing that. But it's, hey, here's where our dollars go. It's not, no one said this to me, but it has been said in the past. They're just like, well, we're just paying your salary. Well, my salary is part of it, and Anne-Marie and Natalie and Greg, our sexton, that's in there, but there's also the going out, right? Again, connections to Holy Cross Day. Why isn't the body, why do we not have crucifixes everywhere, which is the cross with Jesus on there, and instead the cross is empty? Because yes, we come together as the body, so the body's here, but after worship, or it's that symbolism that we're out there doing it. And resurrection is out there doing it. With all of our history, with all of these things, we are seeking to connect with the community. Not beginning, but continuing. Especially as we conclude this 100th year. Not yet, but soon. Concluding the 100th year of our congregation, actually 100 plus, but you go by the official dates, which actually there's a couple, but whatever. It's all in here. But, going out and doing what we know in our hearts and souls, churches do. We are there for the community. We are here to serve. So all of this, I got off on a great tangent here, and now I forgot where I was going. But, this is happening. But we didn't plan it. But anyway, all this will come back to the gospel. It is the dishonest manager. You have used your wealth. You have served wealth rather than God. Where is God? God seems to be absent in what you're doing. We don't plan that. It just happens. It just happens. So a lot to think about, especially today, as we will ponder words from the book of Amos, an Old Testament prophet, but connected to what we hear in the gospel this coming Sunday, connected to what we hear in the epistle, connected to our lives as we ponder this. Where do we share our time and talents? And under talents, of course, is monetary things, but it's that idea of stewardship is more than money. It's going and doing, right? As I reminded all of us again, not necessarily connected, but connected, as I reminded us a few weeks ago, where do we, our stewardship, where do these things go? How is it, what is the cost of discipleship? It's helping cars be parked. It's coming on a Saturday and picking weeds and making the gardens in front of the church look nice. It's moving, helping put away things that we've used for different programs. We had, it's coming and being a part of the parade and wearing a cool t-shirt, right? And just waving and passing out candy. It's smiling. It's all of this. It's all part of the identity of who we are. All these things. So how are we doing that, right? How are we doing that? So the book of Amos, let me get to that. I think I've gone off on quite a few tangents here. Amos 8, 4-7. Hear this, you that trample on the needy and bring to ruin the poor of the land, saying, when will the new moon be over, so that we may sell grain, and the Sabbath, so that we may offer wheat for sale? We will make the ephah, or bushel, small, and the shekel great, and practice deceit with false balances, buying the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals, and selling the sweepings of the wheat. The Lord has sworn by the pride of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their deeds. So a lot happening there. What's the message? Woe to you that put wealth over God, wealth and whatnot over people, over your fellow children of God. Woe to you that care more about those things than you do about God and your neighbor. What? In the Old Testament, right? The prophets saying this? I think we have a mirror to the gospel. Love your neighbor, love God, love your neighbor. Do you hear it in there? What are the two greatest commandments? And really, the umbrella for all of them. Love God, love your neighbor. If you do this, there you go. I think someone's taking out the trash. Anyway, our devotion. Amos, a humble shepherd in the Judean countryside, was tasked by God to deliver a message of judgment to the people of the northern kingdom of Israel. So, what is the timely context here, or what is the historical context? This is before the exile. It sounds like before the exile of the north and south kingdom. However, having a north and south kingdom means that the land of Israel is broken up into Israel and Judah. Did I get that backwards? I always get it backwards. Israel is here and Judah is here. Israel falls first, Judah is here, the Babylonians come, and there is exile. But that hasn't happened yet, but soon. So, Amos is simply a shepherd, right? The lowly are called because shepherds are seen as lowly. Important, but invisible to a lot of people. Okay. Appearing devout, their hearts were worshiping idols. These are the people oppressing the poor and following corrupt business practices. In this reading, the wealthy managers are depicted as awaiting the end of religious observances so that they can resume dishonest business practices for financial gain. So, what do I hear there? There's things that are competing with the time of worship. Yeah, go do your thing, but the important thing is Let that be short so we can sell, so we can make money. But earlier in chapter 8, God, seeing through their deception, likens them to overripe fruit, outwardly abundant, but inwardly spoiled and ready for consequences. Just as neglected fruit turns rotten, so do people who forsake justice and mercy for personal gain. I think that speaks to us even today. Amos challenges Amos's they don't have the right punctuation here. Amos's challenge is also for us to examine our own lives. Are we hiding behind ritual while ignoring compassion? Can we be harvested for goodness, nurturing those in need and honoring sacred times as God intends? Or have we grown indifferent, risking spiritual decay? So again, it's that idea. Where is God in this? Hence the title of this series that I use. It's an everyday devotional that comes from one of our seminaries. Do we take God pauses? Do we give God what is God's, right? Do we find ourselves suddenly sitting somewhere, like I just did? I'm running around today, trying to get things ready for the week, preparing for Sunday. Yes, I work more than one day a week, preparing things, getting things in order so that everything can work out. And I'm running through the sanctuary here at Resurrection. And what do I realize? I'm running around and I look up and there's the cross that we heard about this last Sunday, the cross that's in front of our sanctuary, the cross that we were called this last Sunday to stop and ponder. And I said to myself, gosh, I haven't prayed in a while. I should do that. And I sat down and I did. And I will be honest with you, I wept a little bit. I wept a little bit for myself, for things to come, things that have been weighing on me that I don't realize, not necessarily in a bad way, but just I took that pause, praying for lifting up my prayers, lifting up other prayers, lifting people up in prayers, all of those things, joys, sorrows, pains, griefs, silent struggles, etc. And then just praying for our world, praying for our country, praying for our world, praying for so much. And I found myself weeping, just weeping. Because it just seems more and more it's harder to take a step forward, no matter how small. It is just so hard. For those of my generation, I equate it to, the bog of sadness, the never-ending story, right? The more you try and move, the sadder it gets, the more it just sucks you down. So I took that moment and I just said those words, simple prayer. Help me release this, right? I give this over to you. And then God speaks in the silence. But I just breathed. Priorities, prayers, etc. These things. The computer keeps moving around. So, spiritual decay. Watch out, right? Let's pray. Righteous God, you see beyond our outward appearances and know our heart's truth. Keep us from false worship and shape us into people who live with justice, mercy, and compassion, so that our lives bear fruit that honors you. And I would add, our neighbors. Amen. Lots to think about, ever powerful that these things can continue to speak to us. But until next week, God bless.